Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference begins Monday, which means the tech blogosphere is filled to the brim with juicy Apple rumors. Here's what the tech world says you should expect to see at WWDC. Business Insider's Jay Yarrow has pretty much confirmed we'll be seeing iOS 8, all thanks to some stealthy investigative journalism, otherwise known as snapping pictures of banners being hung at the venue. A long-rumored feature that persists to this day is the rumored HealthBook app. The app will collect all kinds of health information from blood pressure and sleep to activity and oxygen levels. And 9to5Mac points to a few other things we'll see in iOS 8. The infamous Apple Maps is set to receive some much-needed improvements. From better mapping data to public transit, the outlet is predicting quite an overhaul. iTunes Radio might be broken out into its own app, and the Cupertino company is also said to be considering nixing the underutilized Games Center. And several sources claim Mac apps text edit and preview may be headed to iOS. A few other rumors include a potential song identification feature for iOS, think Shazam, and the Financial Times says the tech company is planning to add home automation features, like wireless lighting systems and thermostats. Now on to OS X, the operating system that powers Apple's computers, which is also expected to get a few improvements. Josh Lowenson of The Verge also relied on his investigative journalism prowess to snap this banner. Lowenson says the image behind the X looks like Yosemite, which is of note because as of the last update, Apple has begun to name new iterations of OS X after locations in California. The company could, in theory, announce OS X Yosemite at this year's WWDC. The next version of OS X, which will likely be called OS X 10.10, is rumored to operate much like the current version, but it will reportedly look a bit different. Apple is expected to bring OS X more in line with the visual design of iOS. Now on to the pièce de résistance, hardware. What new gadgets and goodies is Apple set to unveil at this year's WWDC? Well, we won't really know until Apple's leadership takes the stage on Monday, but here are the rumors. 9to5Mac, which has had an impressive track record on predictions, says we probably won't be seeing a new iPhone, iPad mini, or iPad Air. But an iWatch isn't completely out of the question. We've been hearing about a wearable from the Cupertino company for quite some time. Mac Rumors says the device will probably contain health sensors for tracking all kinds of health-related stats, like heart rate and movement. But Engadget says don't hold your breath. We might not see any hardware. The tech site writes, at this point, there's a half-decent chance that Apple won't show off any hardware at all. But, don't hang your heads and put away your wallets just yet. Recode got a chance to sit down with Apple's Eddie Q, and he had some good news for Apple customers.
Later this year, we've got, the best product pipeline that I've seen at Apple in my 25 years at Apple.
Well, the best product pipeline you've seen in 25 years.
That's right.
We'll be following along on Monday as Apple announces what actually will be coming from the company. Follow Newsy on Twitter to stay updated. For Newsy, I'm Micah Sargent.